Families, friends, and special guests of our graduates, in keeping with the significance of this occasion, we ask that you observe a few simple courtesies. First, please do not obstruct the aisles to take photographs or congratulate the graduates. A professional photographer will be taking pictures of each graduate, which they will receive. And please follow the directions of the commencement marshals and ushers. Finally, in honor of our graduates, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. Family, friends, and special guests, please welcome our doctoral graduates. Now, please join us in welcoming the faculty of Cleveland State University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the University Platform Party, led by Honorary University Marshal Dr. Anoop Kumar, and the 8th President of Cleveland State University, Dr. Laura Bloomberg.
I declare the commencement to be assembled.
Good evening. Platform party, please be seated. Good evening, everybody. Please be seated. I'm going to make you stand up in a little bit anyway, but that's okay. Welcome to the commencement ceremony for doctoral graduates at Cleveland State University. I am Dr. Nigaman Sridhar, and I have the privilege of serving as Provost and Senior Vice President at the university. As a courtesy to all of our graduates, and because we all want to celebrate together for the entire ceremony, I ask that you stay for the entire ceremony and remain in place until all degrees have been conferred. At this stage, I will ask you to stand, and I'm going to welcome Julio Santana in joining the singing of our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and her rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
Thank you, Julio. And a very special thank you to our Olympic brass up there, if you didn't notice them. It is now my honor to introduce the distinguished members of the platform party. Please stand as your name is announced and remain standing until everyone has been announced. First, our college deans. Joanna Ganning, Associate Dean, the Levin College of Public Affairs and Education. Andrew Kirsten, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. Melissa Grice, Dean, the Monty Ahuja College of Business. Richard Shepheister, Dean, the Washkowitz College of Engineering. Stephanie Brooks, Dean, College of Health. Bill Costeas, Dean, College of Graduate Studies. Members of the President's Cabinet, Patricia Franklin, Chief of Staff to the President. Sonali Wilson, Vice President for Legal Affairs and Compliance and General Counsel and Board Secretary. Meredith Bond, Vice President, Research and Innovation. Douglas Dykes, Associate Vice President for Human Resources. Tashelle Banks, Vice President, Student Belonging and Success. David Jewell, Senior Vice President, Business Affairs and Chief Financial Officer. Kelsey Gori-Harkey, Interim Vice President and Director, Athletics, and Deputy Athletics Director for the Student Athlete Experience. Roy Gifford, Vice President, University Marketing and Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. Honorary Marshal, Dr. Anup Kumar, President of the Faculty Senate and Faculty Representative to the Board of Trustees. And our President, Dr. Laura J. Bloomberg. Representing the Cleveland State University Board of Trustees, Judy Usherman, Faculty Representative to the Board of Trustees, Nikki Bird, Lisa Kunkel, Tim Cosgrove, Vice Chair. Thank you. Before we go along, I want to say some thank yous, and this room is far too quiet. We need to get this room going, right? It is a celebratory night. So, graduates, I'm looking at you first. In this room is filled. There's all kinds of people here, but in this room are people that have helped you get here. There are parents here, there are children, siblings, brothers, sisters, spouses, partners, caregivers, friends, and various other descriptors that each of you would use for the people that have helped you get here. I want you to get up, turn around, and recognize the people that helped you get here by saying thank you. Graduates. The people that, there's another group of people that also helped every one of these graduates get here, and that's the faculty and the staff at Cleveland State University. I would like the entire room to give a warm round of respectful applause and thank you to our faculty and staff who have helped our graduates get here. That sounds a little better for a happy celebratory commencement evening. It is now my pleasure to call to the podium the 8th president of Cleveland State University, Dr. Laura J. Bloomberg.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so delighted to see all of you here today, and congratulations, graduates. Today, as you well know, is the culmination of years of hard work, and you deserve every bit of celebration and congratulations that will be heaped on you today. I love commencements on university campuses. It's the most special time of the year, and for those of us who have chosen a career in the academy as scholars and academics, pudding ceremonies are particularly special. I just keep thinking of all the critical moments in your life where you made decisions that led to your being here today. At some point, you made the decision that your education was a priority and that graduate school was the path for you. That is an enormous commitment. I know it. The people up here know it. To get here today, I know that you made sacrifices and you made trade-offs in your lives that really are required to achieve the level of academic success that you have achieved. At some point, you discovered your passion or the dream career pathway, and you committed to pursuing it. Maybe some of you didn't know exactly what you wanted to do, and maybe some of you don't know exactly where you're going yet, but you followed your instinct. I imagine that you sought the advice of trusted advisors and mentors, and you pointed yourself in a direction, and that you ventured forth. You found a path, and you should be very proud of yourselves indeed. And here's where I'm going to start sharing a few of my biases with you. I believe we should all be grateful to you. Here's why. I believe fundamentally that higher education, and graduate education in particular, is in so many ways a public good. And receiving a terminal degree, it's an odd word we use, terminal degree, to signal the highest degree you can get in your field. You have hit in some ways a pinnacle. I'm going to come back to that later. But receiving a terminal degree is the highest form or manifestation of that public good. When you get to this point in your academic journey, I have come to believe that most of you do not pursue this highest level of education for your own benefit alone. You do it to advance something or some idea or some ideal that you want to see in the world. By receiving a terminal degree, you have demonstrated the ability to sit literally at the top of your field. You now are a part of shaping the future. That's heady stuff, but it's true. Receiving a terminal degree, however, by no means signals that you are done learning. In many ways, we call it commencement for a reason. You are not done learning. I believe those of you who hold the highest, those of us who hold the highest degrees in our respective fields must heed a persistent calling to push for new learning, new knowledge, new ways of understanding the world, new ways of understanding our place in the world, and new ways of making it better. This is what makes your terminal degree a public good. Your persistent efforts to make the world a better, more resilient, more peaceful, more healthy, more equitable place in your field, in the path that you have chosen. I also want to talk a little bit about mentorships and relationships, and I want to do this by taking just a moment to tell you a little bit about my own doctoral advisor. This man pushed me hard. I was a doctoral student while working full-time, and I had to schedule odd hours to meet with him, sometimes at 7 in the morning or at 8 at night. And one of the things I remember with great clarity is that he always made time for me, but it wasn't always comfortable to meet with him. I would share my research ideas. This was a gentle man, but wow, did he push me hard. Here are some of the things that I will never forget as I would sit and share some of my emerging ideas with my doctoral advisor. He would say, "So Laura, why?" Now, bear in mind, this was not sarcastic. This was an honest question, and he wanted a thoughtful answer. Why should the world care about the work you're doing or you're describing to me? Why should the world care about the questions you're asking, the research questions? What impact do you expect this to have? Why does it matter? And who does it matter to? Now, I understand not all of you are seeking research terminal degrees, but you can imagine those questions applying to all of us in many senses. And here's the thing I will never forget. Sometimes when I was tired and I didn't know, I'd give some kind of half-baked answer because he wanted something from me. So I'd give him my best, and there'd be this long, long pause. And then he would say, "Laura, does that answer inspire you?" I'll never forget that. Wow. It made me prepare more, but more than anything, it made me think, what are the questions I want? What am I going to do with this terminal degree? What am I doing in this handbasket? And he stood with me as I grappled with those questions. The year that I finally defended my dissertation and graduated was a tough, tough year for me. My husband and I had 2 young children, and both of my parents died that year, 9 months apart. It was a hard time, and my doctoral advisor, his name's Bob, said, you know, you can stop. You can stop. We can pause out. You don't have to keep going. And I said, no, I want to keep going for a lot of reasons, emotional reasons, but also I just wanted to get the darn thing done. So we kept going. My dissertation is dedicated to the lives and memories of my 2 parents that year. And then a funny thing happened. The day of my dissertation defense, there was a big celebration, and Bob said to me, are you and John, my husband, are you going to be home tomorrow? And I said, I imagine so, because we can't afford a babysitter. And he said, well, Susan and I, that was Bob's wife, Susan and I are going to come over. You're going to be home about 2 in the afternoon. And I said, yes, we're going to be there. So at 2 the next day, after I defended my dissertation, my doctoral advisor, Bob Brunix, and his wife, Susan Hagstrom, pulled into our driveway trailing a sailboat, a beat-up, old, dirty sailboat. But it was a, good-sized 20-foot long sailboat. I'm like, what in the world? Are they on their way somewhere? And he gets out of the car and he goes, this is for you. I'm like, I don't sail, Bob. He goes, well, it needs a little work. There's a couple of holes, but I have this fiberglass repair kit. We'll work on it together. My relationship with my doctoral advisor pivoted to repairing this sailboat that I didn't know I wanted. And we worked on it, and I said, Bob, why are you giving me a sailboat? And he said, and I will never forget this, because great scholars live their full lives and they find balance in their lives. This is my gift to you. It needs work, but you can either learn to sail, or once we're done repairing it, you can sell it because it ought to be worth some money, and you can choose your own way to find balance. We did end up sailing it for about 6 years, and then we decided it was either the marriage or the sailboat. One of the things couldn't stay, so sailboat got sold and we bought a canoe instead. But his point was great. You don't have to throw your entire life into your academic pursuit all the time. Great scholars find balance, and he helped me to find balance. 26 years after I defended my dissertation, I was inaugurated as your 8th president. And Dr. Robert Brunix, now well into his 80s, spoke at my investiture. When I reached out to him and asked if he would do that, he said, this just is incredible to me. He said, well, it was already on my calendar. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I was just waiting to be told if I was going to be sitting in the audience or up with you on stage. And he was here, and it was the great honor of my life to have my doctoral advisor here when I became a university president. Not for nothing, after Bob was my doctoral advisor, he became a dean. Years later, I became a dean. He became a provost. Years later, I became a provost. He became a university president, and so did I. Our journeys with our doctoral advisors may be different. That's not the point. The point is that when you have a terminal degree, when you reach the pinnacle of your academic pursuits, but not the end of your learning, you have a great opportunity to live into that notion of this as a public good, and a part of that is sharing your wisdom, your time, your passion for your field with others. That's what my doctoral advisor did to me, that in a sailboat, and it changed my life. And I think that we all have the potential to change each other's lives. When I talk about never not being a learner, even as you accept this remarkable degree that you're going to achieve, I think about this quote by the famed philosopher Eric Hoffer that I've invoked often. Some of you have heard me say it. He said, in times of great change, it is the learners who inherit the future, while those who find themselves to be the learned, as if it's a steady state, you got it, now you've got it, while those who find themselves to be the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. My advice to you, even as you celebrate this degree tonight, that you will always be a learner, at the same time that you will always be a scholar and that you will always be curious. And now you join one of a very privileged few. I'm not sure you all feel privileged tonight, but you are indeed privileged in having this opportunity to receive this degree. Less than 1.2% of all US citizens hold a doctorate degree. And hands down, the United States is the state or the country that confers more doctorate degrees than any other country in the world. So you are a part of an exceptionally small and elite group. If you, like me, believe it's a public good, you'll feel a sense of heady accomplishment and also deep responsibility for that. I urge you to be generous with your time, your knowledge, and your skills, and your mentorship. I urge you to make your degree a public good by making the world a better place. And here's my fundamental belief. One is that education is a public good, and two, I won't go on for a long time, although I could, and I want to look to the scholars, the faculty members in the front when I say this. The world needs scholars. The world needs scholars. I believe it in my core. The world needs you, and on our collective behalf, I thank you for the work that you are going to do in the world. I thank you for being a part forever of the Cleveland State University community, and I thank you for becoming a part of the community of scholars. And now it is my privilege to introduce to you the gentleman serving as Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Tim Cosgrove, who will bring you greetings on behalf of the board to the graduating class of 2024.
I learned something this evening. I did not realize that President Bloomberg was a sailor. But what I do know is she is a great captain of this ship, and we are so grateful for her leadership. Dr. Bloomberg, thank you. Again, welcome all the new doctors. Congratulations. It is a privilege to be here on behalf of the board to welcome all of you and to congratulate you and your family and your friends, and to give special thanks to the faculty without whom you would not be here today. So again, congratulations and thank you. It's appropriate, this is, as Dr. Bloomberg said, this is the greatest weekend of the year for Cleveland State. It's commencement weekend. And it's appropriate that we started here tonight with this doctoral hooding ceremony. It is the appropriate way to start a commencement weekend, as you are all earning the highest academic credentials. And we are all grateful to be here. As Dr. Bloomberg so eloquently stated, so much of our future is in your hands. With the degree that you've earned, this highest academic credential, your doctorate, you now are the people that folks will turn to as we try to confront some of the world's most difficult challenges. And I concur with President Bloomberg and encourage you to lead. I think she said it so well when she said, "We need you." And we are proud here at Cleveland State that we're part of this journey. And we congratulate you on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and know that you are all going to go out in the world and do magnificent things. And always please remember us here at Cleveland State as part of your Viking family. Thank you all so very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Trustee Cosgrove. All right, done with the speeches. Madam President, we now have the honor to present to you each candidate of Cleveland State University's spring class of 2024 for doctoral degrees, and whose names appear in the printed program. The doctoral degree is the highest degree awarded by a university. It indicates that the recipient has significantly advanced the knowledge and practice within their discipline. To recognize this outstanding level of accomplishment, the Academy does something really special. It honors the recipient with the awarding of a doctoral hood and the distinguished title of Doctor. I now invite Dr. Bill Costas, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, to present our candidates.
Thank you, Provost Sridhar. We begin with the doctoral degree for business administration. Wissam Perez Hilou. Wissam successfully defended a dissertation titled How IT Governance Mechanisms Moderate the Relationship Between Environmental Turbulence and Organizational Resilience, a quantitative study. He is being hooded by Dr. Raymond Henry. I present you Dr. Wissam Perez Hilou. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Philosophy in Adult Development and Aging. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Adult Development and Aging, Morgan Jane Mignot. Morgan successfully defended a dissertation titled Utilization of Support Services and Perceived Health Outcomes of Vulnerable Older Adults, an application of the behavioral health model. She is being hooded by Dr. Catherine S. Judge. I present you Dr. Morgan Jane Mignot. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Abigail Ama Ansanzame. Abigail successfully defended a dissertation titled The Role of RNase L in Metabolic Syndrome. She is being hooded by Dr. Emin Zhu. I present you Dr. Abigail Ama Ansazame. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Bioanalytical Chemistry, Jillian V. Kodja. Jillian successfully defended a dissertation titled Investigation of TAZ Metabolism and Therapeutic Agents in Barth Syndrome. She is being hooded by Dr. Yana Sanders. I present you Dr. Jillian V. Kodja. Madam President, the following are candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Neda Abdullahi. Neda successfully defended a dissertation titled Anatomy-Based, Rule-Driven Prediction of Individualized Knee Movement Capacity. She is being hooded by Dr. Brian Davis. I present you Dr. Neda Abdullahi. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Izdihar Al-Diafma. Izdihar successfully defended a dissertation titled Blockchain-Based Secure Sensing, Data Processing, and Logging. She is being hooded by Dr. Wenbing Zhao. I present you Dr. Izdihar Al-Diafma. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Mirza Mohammed Abdullah Beg. It'll get harder. Mirza successfully defended a dissertation titled A Time-Dependent Multi-Axial Inelastic Constitutive Model for Isotropic and Anisotropic Nuclear Graphite. He's being hooded by Dr. Josiah Owusu Dankwa. I present you Dr. Mirza Mohammed Abdullah Beg. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Hamed Javidi. Hamed successfully defended a dissertation titled Identifying Optimal Deep Neural Network Models for Improved Prediction of Complex Diseases. He is being hooded by Dr. Daniel Rotroff. I present you Dr. Hamed Javidi. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Jinlong Li. Jinlong successfully defended a dissertation titled Overcoming Real-World Challenges in Autonomous Driving Perception, Methodology and Application. He is being hooded by Dr. Heng Kai Yu. I present you, Dr. Jinlong Li. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Jafar Kurbimani. Jafar successfully defended a dissertation titled Automatic Cardiac Signals Analysis and Application of Biometrics in Wearables Security. He is being hooded by Dr. Ye Zhu. I present you, Dr. Jafar Kurbimani. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Tessa Rosenberger. Tessa successfully defended a dissertation titled Turbulence in Transitions, using LES to develop observational strategies and understand an evolving atmospheric boundary layer. She is being hooded by Dr. Thijs Huis. I present you, Dr. Tessa Rosenberger. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Engineering, Hanin Yeha. Hanin successfully defended a dissertation titled 3D Expansion and Differentiation of Induced Pluripotent Stem Cells into Insulin-Producing Beta Cells. She is being hooded by Dr. Chandrasekhar Kothapalli. I present you, Dr. Hanin Yeha. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Jason Mogis. Jason successfully defended a dissertation titled Economic, Personal, and Work-Related Determinants of Addiction Counselor Turnover Intentions. He's being hooded by Dr. Graham Stead. I present you, Dr. Jason Mogis. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Education, Mengxi In. Mengxi successfully defended a dissertation titled Insecure Attachment and Post-Traumatic Growth Following Relationship Disillusions, the Mediating Roles of Self-Compassion and Gratitude. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Yushin Yao. I present you, Dr. Mengxi In. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Studies and Public Affairs. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Studies and Public Affairs, Kyle Fee. Kyle successfully defended a dissertation titled Income Inequality and Economic Growth in United States Counties, 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s. He's being hooded by Dr. Robert Gleason. I present you, Dr. Kyle Fee. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Studies and Public Affairs, Roran Liu. Roran successfully defended a dissertation titled Old World in the New Economy, Shaping Metropolitan America's Innovation Landscape Through a Half-Century of Patented Traditional Technologies. She's being hooded by Dr. Joanna Gannon. I present to you Dr. Roran Liu. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Urban Studies and Public Affairs, Samuel Owusu Ajamin. Samuel successfully defended a dissertation titled Beyond the Fair, Social Equity Conversations in Public Transportation Pricing and the Potential of Mobile Payment Technology. He is being hooded by Dr. Roby Simons. I present you Dr. Samuel Owusu Agiman. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Nursing Practice. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice, Connie Dang Cormier. Connie successfully defended a scholarly project titled Education on Burnout to Raise Awareness and Bridge the Gap to Available Resources for Nurses. She's being hooded by Dr. Tanya Runner. I present you Dr. Connie Dang Cormier. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice, Yulia Marshall. Yulia successfully defended a scholarly project titled Improving Diagnosis of Tardive Dyskinesia in Psych 360 Patients. She is being hooded by Dr. William Matcham. I present you Dr. Yulia Marshall. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice, Quintasha McCrimmon. Quintasha successfully defended a scholarly project titled Development and Implementation of a Standardized Maternal Mental Health Protocol, a Quality Improvement Project. She's being hooded by Dr. Heather Rice. I present you Dr. Quintasha McCrimmon. Madam President, the following are candidates for Doctor of Occupational Therapy. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Melissa Arellano. Melissa successfully defended a capstone titled Development of a Dating Violence Prevention Program for Adolescents. She is being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present you Dr. Melissa Arellano. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Taylor Ann Arjun. Taylor successfully defended a capstone title, Occupational Therapy's Role in the Area of Body Image and Eating Disorders. She is being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present to you Dr. Taylor Ann Arjun. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Jamie Bartolovich. Jamie successfully defended a capstone titled Universal Guideline Manual for Physical Education Courses at Cleveland State University. She's being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Jamie Bartolovich. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Nautica Bell. Nautica successfully defended a capstone titled The Positive Impact of Occupational Therapy Working with Aged Out Foster Youth on Campus, Leading by Example. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Nautica Bell. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Samantha Blashinsky. Samantha successfully defended a capstone titled Transitions to Independent Living for Adults with an Intellectual Disability/Down Syndrome. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Samantha Blashinsky. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Catherine Bliven. Catherine successfully defended a capstone titled Promoting Occupational Justice Within an Adaptive Rock Climbing Program. She's being hooded by Dr. Jen Soros. I present you Dr. Catherine Bliven. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Miriam Boulos. Miriam successfully defended a capstone titled Caregiver as the Client, Understanding the Needs of Informal Caregivers of Older Adults in Addressing Their Burden Through Occupational Therapy Services. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Miriam Boulos. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Rachel Bronig. Rachel successfully defended a capstone titled Implementation of OT Services through a Reverse Job Fair for Adults with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Rachel Bronig. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Jenny Burdett. Jenny successfully defended a capstone titled Occupation-Based Wellness Within the Veteran Population. She's being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present you Dr. Jenny Burdett. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Hannah Bush. Hannah successfully defended a capstone titled Returning to Sexual Activity and Intimacy After Spinal Cord Injury. She is being hooded by Dr. Jen Soros. I present you Dr. Hannah Bush. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Elena Daniels. Elena successfully defended a capstone titled Dating and Relationships for Individuals with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. She is being hooded by Dr. Jen Soros. I present you Dr. Elena Daniels. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Caitlin Deere. Caitlin successfully defended a capstone titled Increasing Cultural Inclusivity Within Your Practice, Creating a DEI Toolkit for Occupational Therapy Practitioners. She is being hooded by Dr. Carla Reese. I present you Dr. Caitlin Deere. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Kelsey Gerbine Delicio. Kelsey successfully defended a capstone titled Implementing a Resiliency Building Social Emotional Learning Program in a Preschool Setting, a Pilot Study. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust. I present you Dr. Kelsey Gerbino Delicio. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Kelly M. Desi. Kelly successfully defended a capstone titled Occupational Therapy in the U.S. Criminal Justice System, Assessing Leisure Engagement and Parental Roles Within the Criminal Justice Setting. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Kelly M. Desi. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Brittany Earle. Brittany successfully defended a capstone titled Adaptive Outdoor Recreation to Promote Health and Well-Being for Adults with Disabilities. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Brittany Earle. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Evan Fox. Evan successfully defended a capstone titled a community-based leisure occupation program for cancer survivors and caregivers. He is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Evan Fox. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Emily Sue Freiberg. Emily successfully defended a capstone titled Increasing Occupational Therapists' Knowledge and Awareness of Service Dogs. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Emily Sue Freiberg. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Amanda A. Gale. Amanda successfully defended a capstone titled The Truth to Transitioning, Development of a Trans-Specific Occupational Therapy Practice Framework involving an integrative care model. She is being hooded by Dr. Carla Reese. I present you Dr. Amanda A. Gale. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Ashley Lucille Giffen. Ashley successfully defended a capstone titled Arm and Hand Functional Priorities of Individuals with Tetraplegia. She is being hooded by Dr. Gina Kubik. I present you Dr. Ashley Lucille Giffen. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Brittany Hankey. Brittany successfully defended a capstone titled Play on the Move Manual. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust. I present you Dr. Brittany Hankey. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Brianna N. Host. Brianna successfully defended a capstone titled Improving Community Integration Through a Leisure Program to Address Cyclic Veteran Homelessness. She is being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present you Dr. Brianna N. Host. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Taylor Logan Joseph. Taylor successfully defended a capstone titled Optimizing Effects of Occupational and Physical Therapy Post-Stroke. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Taylor Logan Joseph. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Anissa Marie Clean. Anissa successfully defended a capstone titled Justice Involved Individuals in Sensory Processing. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Anissa Marie Clean. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Brianna Shakira Knuckles. Brianna successfully defended a capstone titled Assessing the Influence of a Transdisciplinary Approach for Justice-Involved Adolescent Girls in the Juvenile Detention Center. She is being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present you Dr. Brianna Shakira Knuckles. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Jayla Ann Kennard. Jayla successfully defended a capstone titled Understanding the Impact of Trauma-Informed Interventions on Child and Family Mental Health, Dynamic, and Engagement in Occupations. She is being hooded by Dr. Jen Soros. I present you Dr. Jayla Ann Kennard. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Julia Langhurst. Julia successfully defended a capstone titled Care Partner and Family Manual for Parkinson's Disease. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you, Dr. Julia Langhurst. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Elise Mueller. Elise successfully defended a capstone titled Promoting Positive Maternal Health, Co-Occupational Education, Engagement, and Empowerment in the Perinatal Period. She is being hooded by Dr. Susan Basic. I present you, Dr. Elise Mueller. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Michaela Narigon. Michaela successfully defended a capstone titled Investigating How Children with Autism Respond in Virtual Environments. She's being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust and her father, Dr. Nick Zingali. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Emily Caitlin Narins. Emily successfully defended a capstone titled Addressing the Gap, the Role and Potential of Occupational Therapy in Hospice. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you, Dr. Emily Caitlin Narins. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Brandon James Olson. Brandon successfully defended a capstone titled Cultural Responsiveness and the Future Health Care Provider. He's being hooded by Dr. Carla Reese. I present you, Dr. Brandon James Olson. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Madison G. Palmer. Madison successfully defended a capstone titled Resiliency Program Implementation on Children with Chronic Pain and Caregivers. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust. I present you, Dr. Madison G. Palmer. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Amanda Marie Pearson. Amanda successfully defended a capstone titled Promoting Skill Development, Inclusion, and Participation by Implementation of Activity-Based, Sensory-Enriched Programs for Children. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust. I present you, Dr. Amanda Marie Pearson. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Marissa M. Polson. Marissa successfully defended a capstone titled Empowering Fall Prevention, Development and Implementation of Volunteer Peer Liaison Program Manual. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you, Dr. Marissa M. Polson. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Heather A. Rabel. Heather successfully defended a capstone titled Enhancing Hospice Care, Integrating Altered Engagement in Occupations through the Dimensions of Doing, Being, and Becoming. She's being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you, Dr. Heather A. Rabel. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Grace Reminder. Grace successfully defended a capstone titled Occupational Therapy Programs Fostering the Development of School Readiness Skills in Refugee Children. She's being hooded by Dr. Carla Reese. I present you Dr. Grace Reminder. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Monica Rachel Samboa. Monica successfully defended a capstone titled, Using the Nintendo Switch as an Exercise Modality to Increase the Enjoyment, Motivation, and Determine Feasibility of the Use of emerge gaming in community-dwelling older adults. She is being hooded by Dr. Kelly Faust. I present you Dr. Monica Rachel Samboa. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Helen Saul. Helen successfully defended a capstone titled Occupational Therapy Practitioners, Perspectives on Pain Management Following Spinal Cord Injury. She is being hooded by Dr. Gina Kubek and her aunt, Dr. Alexia Metz of the University of Toronto. I present you Dr. Helen Saul. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Kelsey Slobin. Kelsey successfully defended a capstone titled Independent Living Skill Workshops at Cleveland State University's RISE program. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Kelsey Slobin. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Kara Stoltz. Kara successfully defended a capstone titled Life Skills and Young Adults with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Kara Stoltz. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Olivia Trickett. Olivia successfully defended a capstone titled AI and Mobile App Utilization for Hand Therapy Among Patients with Lower Socioeconomic Status. She is being hooded by Dr. Beth Eckelman. I present you Dr. Olivia Trickett. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Rachel Vance. Rachel successfully defended a capstone titled Addressing Burnout Among Caregivers of People with Spinal Cord Injury. She is being hooded by Dr. Gina Kubik. I present you Dr. Rachel Vance. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Jacqueline Lee Voitko. Jacqueline successfully defended a capstone titled Occupational Therapy and Human Trafficking Recovery, a Novel Educational Model. She is being hooded by Dr. Jen Soros. I present you Dr. Jacqueline Lee Voitko. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Dina Marie Wenzinger. Dina successfully defended a capstone titled Student Athletes and Their Hidden Opponent, Assessing and Supporting Student-Athlete Mental Health and Well-Being. She is being hooded by Dr. Barbara Milliken. I present you Dr. Dina Marie Wenzinger. Receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, Asia Jones. Asia successfully defended a capstone titled Time is of the Essence, Improving Patient Outcomes Utilizing Lean Six Sigma Principles to Optimize Patient Access to Vestibular Physical Therapy. She is being hooded by Dr. Michelle Collins. I present you Dr. Asia Jones. This concludes the conferring of the doctoral degrees.
No need to stop. Let's keep going. One more round of applause. All right, congratulations, graduates. Our ceremony today concludes with the president formally conferring doctoral degrees upon the spring class of 2024. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the audience is asked to remain seated for the recessional while the platform participants, faculty, staff, and the new graduates recess. Once the graduates have recessed, you may join them in the lobby. Okay, this is the formal part. I ask the platform party to rise. I ask the graduating class of 2024 to rise. And I invite President Bloomberg back to the podium.
Gosh, this is fun. In a moment, class of 2024, you will join more than 145,000 graduates of Cleveland State University. We look to you to help us continue providing the same opportunity of education that was provided to you so that next generations may thrive. As alums, you are our best ambassadors of goodwill and lifelong members of the Cleveland State University family. Graduates, you ready? Should I wait a little longer? Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Cleveland State University and by the power vested in me by the state of Ohio and the Cleveland State University Board of Trustees, I hereby confer on each individual your respective degree with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Thank you, and hearty congratulations.
If I could ask everyone to stand as you are able, we conclude the ceremony with a CSU tradition, the singing of our university alma mater. The lyrics are found in the program and on the screen. So I'm glad that worked, because a couple times ago, nobody sang. They were expecting me to sing. I'm not doing that. Folks, thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful occasion. Please remain seated until the platform party and our graduates, faculty have recessed. After that, we invite you to join us in a lobby for a celebratory reception.
I declare this commencement exercise to be concluded.